Okay, hello and welcome to Conversations with Grace. Today I have a very special guest and her name is Esther Falodun. She's coming all the way from Canada today to speak to me, which is awesome. She's actually a leadership and growth strategist with the John Maxwell Group. Thank you for joining me, Esther.
Welcome, Grace. A pleasure.
It's cool. Okay, so I'd like to know a little bit about your journey. Just start from the beginning. I'd like to know how you actually started in this industry and what motivated you, what caught your eye to get into it.
Thank you very much for this opportunity, Grace. It's my great pleasure to add value to other people by sharing my growth story. So for sure. I'd like to start with a quote by a philosopher, Voltaire. He said, God has given us the gift of life, but it is completely up to us to give ourselves the gift of living well. So, when I look at my journey that started, my growth journey started about 5 years ago when I moved halfway across the world from Nigeria, where I'm originally from, to Canada. Of course, that was a big risk, right? That was a high jump for me. And, I had an MBA. But I found that there was something on the inside that was seeking fuller expression and expansion. There was more that I was wishing to express, but I wasn't sure how to. I didn't have that level of awareness. And so, in all this, trying to understand and unravel, what is this unrest? It's just like you want to birth a baby, right? When you're in labor, right? You can't, there's no way. I mean, it gets to a point and you're like, I just need to get this baby out. So that's kind of the state of mind I was 5 years ago. Even though I completed an MBA, I know that I've always loved to add value to people and encourage people. But then I felt there was a dream inside of me seeking fuller expression. And guess what? I came across the John Maxwell team because I was looking for personal growth, looking for something that would help me uncover more of the potential I had on the inside. And so in 2016, I came across the John Maxwell team. And when I spoke to one of the program advisors, she spoke for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, yes, this is what I've been looking for, right? And she said, okay, so why don't you sign up? And I signed up right away. Mind you, I didn't have a dime when I signed up. But they had a payment plan and I was ready to jump right in. I was like, I need to get this baby out of my womb. I just need to get this baby out. And so that was how my growth journey started with the John Maxwell team. And I believe it all boils down to, if you want to add value to people, you need to be able to add value to yourself first, right? You need to be that first model. You need to grow yourself to be able to grow other people. So that was how my journey started with the John Maxwell team, and I launched out into leadership and growth because I discovered that I needed to be intentional about my growth. I needed to discover more of who I was, and that was how I began to birth those dreams that were seeking fuller expression inside of me. In fact, by the way, I told John Maxwell when I met him in Florida in 2017 during the certification event, I said, "You are my midwife. Finally, I can birth my dreams because yes, I've been looking for how to birth this baby." So, in a nutshell, my journey started with that quest of, wanting more. Maya Angelou also said there is no greater agony in life than bearing an untold story. So I had untold stories inside of me, but until I got to that level of awareness and I got a team that equipped me and expanded my awareness, I think I was just having those dreams inside of me. So that's what brought me into the leadership and growth space.
I would like to know what he said when you told him about giving birth.
He was like, I've never heard that. He's like, people call me father, friend, coach, mentor. It's like, I've never had anyone call me a midwife, maybe a mid-husband.
No, I've never had that one before.
Well,
that's good. What sort of course is it with him? It's mainly about leadership, is that right?
Yes. So he's into he's ranked by Inc. magazine as the #1 leadership authority in the world because, for him, leadership, it says everything rises and falls on leadership.
That's right.
Right? out there in the secular world or out there in the world, people believe that leadership is a position. But then when I started this journey, I began to see that everyone is a leader, because you need to be able to lead yourself to lead other people. Yeah. And when I say lead other people, it's not leading in terms of position, it's influencing lives. Leadership is influence, right? So, for John Maxwell, he has practical principles, that helps you understand how you can lead and influence other people.
Yes, he's been doing this for a very long time, and he's looking at it from, everybody in the past has looked at leadership from a different perspective. Right. But he's like, well, it's the buck stops with you. Mm-hmm. So you've got to exude that and set an example, don't you?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Okay, so are there any projects at the moment or past projects that successful projects that you've done with regards to the industry you're in?
So I remember when I started the journey, I said I had to first of all discover who I am, because change starts with you. I mean, I can't change other people or add value to them if I haven't experienced that. So when I think I took 6 to 12 months into what I call personal growth, and I started with John Maxwell's 15 Laws of Growth. It's called the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. So that's a signature class that I went through. And then I created my own program out of that, because I'm certified with his team. So the first client that I had, a personal client, was a friend. Her name is Sarah Lauren. And she also was in the same position I was, a year before that, where she knew she had something on the inside, but she didn't have a midwife, right? So I became a midwife.
Go back to the midwife. Yeah.
I know. Then I slipped into that role of, she keeps calling me. She said, Esther, you help me to birth my dreams. And it's interesting because I know I didn't really use that word when I started, when she became my client, and I coached her through, understanding who she was. But after 12 months, and she birthed her own fashion brand called the Sarah Lauren brand, she said, finally, I got someone to help me birth my dreams. And then I told her the funny story of, telling John Maxwell of being
That's fantastic.
She's like, you see, a product of the product, right? So, I see this, you get value and then you add value to other people. And it's that domino effect, right, of adding value. So that was my first success project, of helping someone birth her clothing brand. She's one of the top fashion designers in Atlantic Canada now, right? And it all started with that seed, planted that seed of awareness that you can be more. You have so much to offer, right?
Yes.
And she took that signature class with me, master class. So that was my first successful project in this space. And then I had other projects which, I had other clients that joined this master class. And most of them are writing their first books. They've done things that they never thought they could do. So it just started with that, taking that first step of expanding their awareness and equipping them. So
yeah,
I
think it's great making people aware that they do have the ability. Right. Everybody has the ability to reach the goal they want. They may have to learn new things. They may have to get educated in certain things, but you have the ability. If you really want to do something, you go for it. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks, because that's another thing that stops people, I guess, isn't it? They think, oh, so-and-so, what will so-and-so think of me? Or what will so-and-so think of that? Well, it's not about them. It's about what you want, Absolutely. So, yeah. So can you tell me how you got into, so just for the viewers, Esther and I actually met last March on a Caribbean cruise, which was a Jack Canfield organised cruise, and we had a seminar on board, and it was a wonderful week, wasn't it?
It was awesome. Yeah, it was transformational.
Fantastic.
That was another level of transformation for me.
Yeah. And I love Esther because she gave me back my camera, because I lost my camera for about 3 hours and I couldn't find it.
So you can forget.
Yeah. So how did your journey with Jack Canfield begin? Do you remember that?
So yeah, I do. I'm trying to just rewind, because I remember when my friend Blessing had asked me If interestingly, she actually told me about John Maxwell. I remember,
Mm.
when I was looking for, I just need to get this out of, I know there's something more. She's a
Yep.
friend from Nigeria as well, and she's very big on personal development. So anyway, she told me that, Jack Canfield is having a Caribbean cruise, and, she's like, for her, it's not just the cruise, but then you get to enjoy, you get to have fun at the same time growing yourself. And for sure, that ticked for me. I was like, this is my first time going on a cruise. I want to go on a cruise. I think it's double benefit, because then I also get to learn and grow.
Right.
And I know that Jack Canfield, I've read his success principles. Okay, so Blessing is actually a train the trainer. She took the train the trainer course. And so she's talked to a lot of people on the success principle, which I was part of. So
Yep.
I'd wanted to, I was like, I need to, see from his perspective what transformation looks like. So it was an opportunity that I jumped at, and it was one of the proudest moments of my life. It was very defining for me. It was beyond my expectation. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. It was a great week, and he's very inspirational. And if nobody knows what we're talking about, I'll show you the book. This is the Jack Canfield Success Principles book, which is basically our Bible. And John Maxwell is one of the leaders in leadership. And this is one of his books, Winning with People, which is also a great book. Yeah, so I haven't finished reading that one, but it's it's a great book. So tell me, I'd like to know, what do you think is your particular skill in the industry that you have, something that you're really good at?
So when you look at skills, for me, I prefer to call it strengths.
Yeah.
Because John Maxwell would say that even if you're not in your comfort zone, you need to be in your strength zone to operate optimally, right? And to fulfill or develop your potential. So I actually had to do some strength finding. I had to do strength finder assessment to zoom in on my strengths, right? So I can be articulated in knowing. I know I love to encourage people, like I said earlier. I like to empower people.
Yeah.
But then I couldn't articulate what my specific strengths were. So recently I took the Gallup Strength Finder assessment, and it was interesting what I found. My top 5 strengths are, connectedness, right? So when I look at my life, my experience professionally and personally is, being a bridge builder, building relationships between people, building a bridge and breaking down silos. So recently I took a project in the company I was working for, a Fortune 500 company, and they had 2 different teams that were, they couldn't seem to find a mutual approach to getting the result they were looking for. And so they brought me in to help them, bridge that gap. How do I help them with culture transformation? And it was seeking first to understand each team's perspective. And that's something I'm very good at, is listening. I'm very people-oriented. I like to break silos, break down those barriers, help them see the benefits, right? Focus, because, there's a quote that says, what you focus on expands. What they are focusing on in each team were the negatives or the things that were not working, as opposed to the strengths and the value that each team had. So what I do, what the strengths I bring to the table, is helping each team, or helping people see the strength they have, right? And helping to bridge that gap between where they are and where they want to be. Another strength that I know that is really helpful for me in this industry and space is activator. So I talked about a midwife, right? Is helping people breath and ignite, just kind of sparking up that dream or that potential. Most people is salient, is eating, but then I find that I have that skill set or have that strength to help you activate that talent, that gift that you're blessed with, and then you can run with it. I'm also gifted with empathy, which is, again, being in this space, you have to be people oriented and have that empathy and listening, helping them understand that I know where you're coming from, right? This is where you want to be, but I understand where you're coming from. And then helping them bridge that gap again. So those are the, the top 5 strengths that I have.
That's wonderful. It's actually quite an amazing strength or skill that you do have to help people uncover and have a light bulb moment. For you to give somebody that is a tremendous asset to have, because not many people can do that, asking the right questions and listening to them. And you yourself have already worked out while you're listening what's going on, right? But sometimes you've got to help them uncover it themselves. So that's terrific, and that's wonderful. So with recent events, what sort of things have changed for you, or how do you think the industry has learned to cope with it?
I think it's interesting because I see this, this crisis as a great opportunity for people to be more creative. So in the leadership, I see a trend of high demand of leadership and growth coaches or transformational coaches, because people are going through a lot mentally, right? I keep telling people, they say we're in the same boat. I don't think we're in the same boat. I think we're in the same storm, and we're all in these different boats, because some people, are seeing this half empty, some people are seeing this half full. Exactly. So we're not in the same boat. We're in the same storm, right? So I see the industry, I think this is a great opportunity for, more coaches, more strategists, more, people that are looking to come into the space to be creative about how do we help people that are not, they can't see things from a positive perspective. So recently, John Maxwell created a resource. He created content around perspective principles of leading through crisis, right? And one of them was everything worthwhile is uphill. That's one of the perspective principles. And when he said everything worthwhile is uphill, he's trying to say we're not giving an overcoming life, but we're giving life to overcome, right? So it's helping people, at this time, I see the industry as an opportunity to help people, help businesses that are struggling, help people that are struggling to see things from the perspective of, what, we can become better with this, right? We can become creative with this. I've seen so many creative opportunities being bred out of this crisis. I've seen people, that were otherwise in their comfort zone being bumped out of their comfort zone to a creative zone, right? So I think this season is an opportunity for leadership coaches and, transformational coaches and, what have you, to help people step up their game, to help businesses, even businesses that are down at this time. What else can I do? If this door is shut, then there has to be another door that I can actually, pass through or open, right? If the doors are closed, you can actually create a new door. You don't have to wait for the door to open. You can create a new door, right? So, this perspective principle has helped a lot of, companies and individuals that I've been working with recently, to see things from a different perspective. And I've seen moments where it's like light bulb, like, oh, now I know what I can do, right? So again, it's that, it's that raising and expanding the awareness that there's opportunities even in the crisis.
Yes. Yeah. I think we all go ahead in life just on that little wheel like the mouse and just keep on going. But this has forced, I think it's forced most people to rethink their life. It's true. It's got them out of their comfort zone and they're rethinking. Oh, and you know what? I think a lot of good will come out of it. I think it's a new chapter. A lot of businesses have changed, have gone a bit smart in the way they do things. Right. So they've come up with different ways to sell things. Now, luckily, the shops that had online stores, at least they've got the online store, right? So there's different ways that, and a lot of restaurants are closed, but a lot of restaurants have stayed open for takeaway. So there's all different ways that you can, create your own new chapter. Isn't that right?
There is always an answer. There is always an answer.
Yes. So she said, well, where God closes the door somewhere, he opens a window. Isn't that right?
Exactly. There is, I've seen so many opportunities that people have come up with that they would not otherwise have come up with if not
Yeah.
for the crisis.
Yeah.
So there's so much we have on the inside. We just, I see storms. Nobody wants, nobody prays for storms or negative things, right? But I see this as opportunities for us to, think critically, right? And understand that, okay, what can I do? How can I be creative? How can I turn this adversity to advantage?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So it boils down to changing how we think, because sometimes we might tend to think negatively, but then we have to be conscious on how we have to feed our faith and starve our fears.
That's right. Very
Very
well
important.
said.
Right.
Very well said. Yeah, I think, it's definitely the way we have to change the way we think. Because obviously people are going to be negative, upset, and that's fine. You need to have a reference point to start from. But I think you need to also go away from that and think, right, what do I want? What am I passionate about? What am I really good at? So if you really think about that, you might think, you know what, I could try this. So, just look at it as a new chapter, and wow, I'm going to do something new now. This is great.
This is exciting, new adventure, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So tell me, see, we were talking about books before, and as you can see, I love books. There's more elsewhere, but anyway.
I know, I have mine in the background. So many books.
I haven't got used to the Audible and all that, all the iBooks on the. I love a book in my hand, so I still do that.
Yeah, I love the traditional books. I love to, open my open my books and read them traditionally, chapter by chapter, make notes and highlight them.
Excellent. That's what I love to do too. So what would you say would be your top 2 books of all time, the ones that really, enlightened you and motivate you and empowered you to go into this new motivational area in industry?
That's a tough question. Do I
It
have
is.
lots?
I know it's a tough
Lots
question
of books that
because
have added value to me. But I know, okay, so I have 2 of them. I actually have them here. Intentional Living. This one is by John Maxwell, of course.
of course.
It's a book that I love because it talks about choosing a life that matters, right? Like how do you get intentional about living your life every day?
Yes.
It starts with, being committed and being empowered to live a successful life. And one thing I like about the book, that stood out for me, has helped my journey in life, is you don't only, when you look at success, right? Now, success from this perspective of personal success, of what value is personal success if it's not flowing to other lives? So intentional living is, kind of living a life where you're a river, you're not a reservoir, like holding everything up, but you're flowing freely into the life of other people and adding value to them. So intentional living is about, how do I impact lives on a daily basis? And I see that as, it's a flow, right? It's a process. So you add value to yourself and then you can add value to other people. Now you can't stop growing yourself, because then you're going to stop growing other people as well, right? So it's a continuous process. I'm adding value to myself. I'm moving from success personally to significance, which is impacting other lives. So that's one book that's really helped, my mindset and shaped my life. The second one, of course, is Jack Canfield, Living the Success Principles, that I got on the cruise last year.
Yeah. Did you get him to sign it?
This book is amazing as well. It has inspiring stories of real people, right, that are achieving extraordinary results.
That's the second one where it's got all the right. So I'll just explain to people, and if you're listening on the podcast, you won't be able to see this obviously, but I'm holding up Jack Canfield's The Success Principles, which came out quite some time ago, probably over 10 years ago now, but he's actually released a second version of the Success Principles, which is Esther's got there, which is actually stories of success, people that have succeeded in what they wanted to do because of this book. So they're all full of testimonials and wonderful stories on how Jack Canfield actually helped them get to where they want to be, because that's the title of the book down the bottom. It's the success principles, how to get from where you are to where you want to be.
Where you want to be.
That's right. And that's what they're basically the principles of what my podcast is based on. Except it's called Your Road to Success. So,
well, that's interesting. Also, the podcast is where you are, and from where you are to where you want to be. Is that the title?
It's called Your Road to Success.
Okay.
Yeah. And the reason I called it that is because my book, as you can see behind me, is called I co-authored that with Jack Canfield, and it's called The Road to Success. So for the podcast, I just changed it to Your Road to Success, so that I'm actually speaking to that person who's listening on the podcast.
Powerful.
Just to play on words. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so this book, I didn't really talk about this book, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I love about this book that has helped me is creating a vision board. Is the magic of visualizing.
Absolutely.
That is
I love my vision board.
I don't have time here.
Yeah.
And that's one of the projects that I didn't mention, but I help women every year to create vision boards. I've done this for 3 years.
Yes.
And it's amazingly powerful. It's transformational, because then they get into that space where they begin to realize that, by the way, I think I'm underutilizing the potential that I'm blessed with, right? I have dreams that I could dream of, but they begin to understand that there are barriers that they could overcome because they're not dreaming big, right? Yes. So creating a vision board for myself has helped me to achieve so many goals and dreams that I never imagined that I could, because I move past those limiting beliefs and say, you know what? The sky is the starting point. I do not believe in limiting points.
No, exactly.
People say the sky is the limit.
But it's not, is it?
Any limit. No. The sky is the starting point for me. Absolutely.
The vision boards, I believe, really, really work. It's worked for me. When I was a bit skeptical at the start many years ago, but I created one anyway. And I put a book in the middle, like a coloured photocopy of a lovely book, and I wrote on it, Grace Chevelle, author. Now, at the time, I had no idea how that was going to manifest. And this is what people need to understand. If you want to be a best-selling author, excuse me, do that. You don't need to know how. The how will show up out of the commitment to the action that you take to get to that goal. So I've got so many things up on my vision board now. So it's great. And you need to look at it every day. I actually have, now I'm not here to plug myself here. I'm here to, talk about you, but on my website, if anybody wants to go to my website, you can either go to yourroadtosuccesspodcast.com.au, and that'll take you to my website, which has got all the podcast details on there. But I've got free resources on there that you can actually download. And one of them is how to make your vision board actually come to life. So that's a downloadable resource as well if you haven't actually got a vision board, or if you're interested in doing one, or even if you do have one and it's not really working for you, because it's not a matter of just putting pictures up, is it? There's so many different facets of the vision board that need to be done for it to be powerful and valuable, like where it is, what sort of pictures, are you putting words on it? Are you feeling the feelings? Do you see it every day? Do you look at it every day? Stuff like that. Absolutely. So,
basically, is it living, right? Or is it put to sleep? Because some people, their vision board is put to sleep. They're not looking at it, but you need to breathe life into it every day. You need to, I also created an affirmation statement for my vision board, right? So every morning, like I look at my vision board with affirmation statements, because I'm a person of faith, right? And I breathe life into it, right? Because I know I'm in oneness with God. And it's happening, it manifests. It does work.
It does work. Yep.
Yeah, it does work.
Yep. Fantastic. And one more thing. So what's happening with you now, Esther? What have you got any things coming up, any projects, or what And also, I have two questions in one. What is your big goal for the future?
So a big goal for the future that I've been, looking to create is I'm trying to develop a leadership academy for youths.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. So recently I left my corporate job. I call it a corporate prison. I don't mind my terminology, but from my own perspective, I felt like my potential was being imprisoned. And it's not just me saying that, but my manager was telling me last year, she's like, Esther, you have so much to offer the world. I'm not sure what you're doing here, right? But sometimes we get so comfortable in a comfort zone that we begin to shortchange other people that we need to impact.
Yeah.
So earlier this year, I took that bold leap from limitation to liberation. And so my focus and my goal is to create a leadership academy for youth in particular. And the reason is, if I knew what I knew when I was 10, 15 years younger than this,
yes,
I think I'll be there's so many limiting beliefs that I had to unlearn, and things I had to relearn. So I'm focused on youth and being a mother of two as well, two twins, teenagers, pre-teenagers. I see a great opportunity with helping, begin to help them shape their leadership capacity and their potential. And so that's one big goal that I'm working on.
That's wonderful, because, yeah, you're right. If we had have known then what we know now, I think things would be a little bit different. And these sort of things aren't taught in schools, maybe on a smaller scale. But children need to know that they do have the ability, if they want to do something, and, to set goals and visualize and that sort of thing. So, yeah, that's a great initiative. I think that's wonderful. I think you'll succeed very well in that.
I am more than confident that I will, because every time I work with youths, I partner with youth serving organizations like schools and the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA. And I've seen over the past 2 years that I've been doing this with youths, I see transformation. I see, I remembered one of the youths walking up to me, one of the students walking up to me last year when I was working with the school. I delivered a workshop for them on understanding the importance of who they are and the gifts they bring to the world. And I talked about the importance of failure to success. Now, failure in the perspective of you keep trying until you get there. The only moments you fail is when you stop trying, right? And I shared my personal story of when I started this leadership and growth journey, and I was trying to get clients, and people signed up for my masterclass. And on the day that I was meant to start, I didn't find anybody in the class. And I was talking to myself, right? And I said, what if I'd given up, right? I don't think I'll be standing before you today. And one of this grade 9 students came up and she said, thank you for sharing that story, because I started a YouTube channel. No one was following my channel and I closed it because I felt I was worthless, right? So, for me, that was the proof, or that was evidence that that this is adding value to youth, and I can't keep quiet. I have to keep spreading this, this impact and helping more youths, understand, how important they are to the world. Yeah. Now, even in the middle of this COVID-19, I started this youth leadership development program. It's a private masterclass for 4 weeks. And we had, parents sign up for their kids. And there's this particular girl that when she came on board the first day, she was looking clueless. She said, I don't know why my parents signed me up for this, but I'm not interested. I said, okay, let's see. After class today, if you're not interested, then we'll call it a day. And then I asked her, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in your dreams and in your goals and your vision? She said, like 1 or 2. I said, why? Then I don't know, right? So I said, okay, so why don't you do an experiment and let's see, right, if we can get you to 7 or 8. And after 4 weeks of, taking this youth leadership program, by the way, which was last week, we did a Zoom call and I said, I'm going to share this recording with your parent, but I want you to share in 5 minutes how this has helped you. Because she created her own vision board by herself on her phone. She shared with me. I was blown away. And then she said, I think I'm on a 10 now. I'm confident. I know my inner strength. And I was watching and like, look at the transformation in 4 weeks, right? So for me, this is part of what makes me come to life, is seeing people transform from where they are to where they want to be, and continue to hold them and equip them on their journey.
That is amazing. It's a great feeling, isn't it, when you have somebody that you've mentored and they've realized that yes, they have the ability. I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well done, Esther. That's
Thank you.
terrific.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much for joining me today. It's been very enlightening, inspiring. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're a busy woman with your children and everything as well. So if anybody wants to contact you, what would be the best way to contact you?
So right now I'm still working on my website, but I could be reached on growth2glowconsulting@gmail.com.
Okay, yep.
And my LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn profile as Esther Falodun.
Yep.
I can also be reached via Facebook, Esther Falodun. So that's the best way to
Several
reach
ways.
me for now.
People can PM you anyway.
Yes, several ways to reach me.
Yep.
If you want to, develop a growth plan, or you want to raise your leadership lead.
Yeah, terrific. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, Esther. It's been wonderful.
Pleasure.
And I hope we do this again soon. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.